Clara, can you believe it? We finally found our dream beach house.
I know, Amelia, years of saving, searching, hoping, and here it is, a beautiful Victorian on the Oregon coast.
Isolated, yes, but full of charm. They ignored the whispers of locals, tales of the house's past. This was their dream, their escape. Nothing could spoil it.
The house is grand, Amelia. High ceilings, large windows facing the sea. It's perfect.
Salt-worn floorboards creaked pleasantly underfoot. A fireplace dominated the living room, promising cozy evenings. The air, though stale, held the faint scent of salt and something else, something akin to forgotten memories. They spent days unpacking, laughing, planning their future in their perfect beach house.
Amelia, did you move this book? It was on the shelf just a moment ago, and now it's here on the table. I don't remember putting it there.
Strange occurrences began subtly. A book misplaced. It seemed innocent at first, just a minor inconvenience. But then more books started to move, almost as if they had a life of their own. They would fall off shelves without any apparent reason, landing in places they shouldn't be. A floorboard creaking when no one was upstairs. The sound was unmistakable, a slow, deliberate creak that sent shivers down the spine. It was as if someone or something was walking around when the house was supposed to be empty. The creaking became a nightly occurrence, a haunting melody that played in the background of their lives. Then the smells. Fleeting whiffs of brine and decay, like the ocean had coughed up a secret. The scent was so strong it felt like they were standing right on the shore, even though the sea was miles away. It was a smell that brought with it a sense of foreboding, a reminder of something long forgotten.
It's probably just the strangeness of a new place, right? Moving into an old house can be unsettling. Maybe it's just our minds playing tricks on us. But deep down, they both knew it was more than that.
Neither woman acknowledged the growing unease. They tried to brush it off, to pretend that everything was normal. But the silence between them spoke volumes. It was a silence filled with unspoken fears and unanswered questions. Ignorance, they found, was a fragile shield against the unknown. They could only ignore the signs for so long before the reality of their situation became impossible to deny. The whispers of the past were growing louder, demanding to be heard. And soon they would have no choice but to listen.
Clara, look at this. A locked door in the attic.
I don't know, Amelia. Maybe we should leave it be.
Curiosity, once innocent, now felt heavy, tinged with dread. Clara wanted to leave it be. Amelia, however, was captivated. The house, once a source of joy, now held a silent challenge. What lay behind the door?
Days later, armed with a crowbar, I broke the lock. The metal groaned under the pressure, and with a final resounding snap, the lock gave way. I had been waiting for this moment, the anticipation building up inside me like a coiled spring. The old rusty lock had been a barrier, keeping secrets hidden away from prying eyes. But now it was time to uncover the truth.
The door swung open with a groan, releasing a gust of icy air and the stench of decay. The hinges, long neglected, protested loudly as the door revealed the darkness within. A thick fog seemed to roll out from the room, carrying with it the unmistakable scent of something long dead. The air was heavy, almost suffocating, and it felt as though the room itself was exhaling a breath it had held for years.
I took a hesitant step forward, my heart pounding in my chest. The darkness seemed to swallow the light from the hallway, making it difficult to see anything clearly. But as my eyes adjusted, I could make out shapes and shadows, remnants of a life long forgotten. The air was thick with dust, and every breath felt like inhaling tiny particles of history.
Amelia gasped, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. She had been standing behind me, her curiosity getting the better of her. The sight before us was more than we had bargained for. Her eyes were wide with shock, and I could see the fear etched on her face. It was a look that mirrored my own feelings, a mix of dread and fascination.
Clara, peering over her shoulder, let out a shriek of pure horror. Her scream echoed through the empty house, a sound that seemed to bounce off the walls and linger in the air. It was a scream that spoke of nightmares and unspoken fears, a sound that sent chills down my spine. Clara had always been the brave one, but in that moment, she was just as terrified as the rest of us.
The room was not empty. It was filled with the remnants of a life that had been abruptly halted. Old furniture, covered in dust and cobwebs, stood as silent witnesses to whatever had transpired here. The walls, once painted in bright colours, were now faded and peeling, adding to the sense of abandonment. It was as if time had stopped in this room, leaving everything frozen in a state of decay. In the centre, bathed in the faint light from the single window, lay a trunk. And inside the trunk was old. Its wood darkened with age and covered in a thick layer of dust. It looked out of place, almost as if it had been deliberately placed there to draw attention. My heart raced as I approached it, the sense of foreboding growing stronger with each step. What secrets did it hold? What horrors lay within? The answers were just a breath away, waiting to be uncovered. Bones, human bones. The realization hit them both like a physical blow. Amelia stumbled back, tripping over a loose floorboard, her eyes wide with terror. Clara, paralyzed with fear, could only stare at the gruesome contents of the trunk. The house, once a sanctuary, now felt like a tomb. The silence, once peaceful, now pulsed with an unseen menace.
Who? Why? How? The questions echoed in the cavernous space of the attic, unanswered and unanswerable. The weight of the discovery pressed down on them, suffocating. The idyllic dream of their beach house shattered, replaced by a chilling reality. The house held secrets, dark and terrible, secrets that they were now inextricably bound to.
Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares, vivid and disturbing, plagued them both. The face of the unknown victim, forever frozen in a silent scream, haunted their waking hours. The house, once filled with laughter and the promise of happiness, now echoed with their fear. Every creak of the floorboards, every sigh of the wind sent shivers down their spines. The strain on their friendship was palpable. Accusations flew back and forth. Why hadn't they listened to the locals? Why did they have to pry into the house's past? The shared dream had become a nightmare, a wedge driven between them.
The house, once a symbol of their bond, now represented a terrifying unknown that threatened to consume them both. They left the house, of course, their faces etched with a mixture of relief and lingering fear. The memories of what transpired within those walls were too much to bear. Fleeing back to the safety of their old lives, they hoped to find solace in the familiar. The comfort of routine, the embrace of loved ones, and the warmth of their old home seemed like a distant dream they desperately wanted to reclaim. But the nightmare didn't end there. The stormy nights and the eerie silence of the haunted house continued to haunt their thoughts. Every creak, every shadow seemed to whisper the horrors they had left behind. The image of the bones, the unanswered questions, the mystery of the skeletal hand, it all lingered in their minds, refusing to be forgotten. The past had a way of clinging to them like a shadow that never fades. The palpable terror that permeated the house, it all lingered. The empty hallways, the cold, unwelcoming rooms, and the shadows that seemed to move on their own. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding on their fear. The dream of the beach house was gone, shattered by the reality of what they had uncovered. The once idyllic retreat by the ocean had turned into a place of dread and despair, replaced by a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. The broken windows, the decaying walls, and the eerie silence spoke volumes of the secrets that the house held. That some doors are best left unopened, some mysteries better left unsolved. The ominous door in the dark hallway stood as a testament to the unknown horrors that lay beyond, some secrets better left buried. The graveyard at night, the buried object in the sand, all symbols of the past that should remain hidden. The nightmare lingered, a constant reminder that some things are better left in the shadows.